What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Dana White criticizes Jared Gordon's game plan going into the third round. In the co-main event of UFC 282, Jared Gordon was on the wrong end of one of the most controversial decisions in recent memory. With many confident Gordon had won, it came as a surprise when his opponent, Paddy Pimblett's hand, was raised. Despite the outrage pouring out on social media, Paddy the Baddy told fans in attendance that he had no doubts about the win. As he explained post-fight, he was confident that he was up 2 rounds going into the third, and as a result, he simply had wanted to play it safe. After the fight, UFC President Dana White shared a unique perspective about the fight, essentially putting the blame on Gordon for not forcing the action and cementing a win in the third round. As he pointedly explained, Gordon essentially threw away the third round.
I thought that Jared Gordon's game plan in the third round was horrible. You know, he felt like he had the first 2 rounds and he went in and pushed him against the fence. And I got to go after the ref too. You know, a big fight, co-main event, third round, crowd's going crazy and you're going to let him stand against the fence the entire fight.
Gordon now finds himself finishing up the year with a 1-2 record. On the flip side of things, Pimblett has put the bow on top of a year that's seen him go 3-0 inside the octagon. Considering Pimblett has been on a tear, many have now begun to call for a highly anticipated showdown with Terrence McKinney. With both men 4 fights into their UFC careers, do you think the time has finally arrived for the two to meet inside the octagon? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Jamahal Hill released a statement ahead of vacant title fight with Glover Teixeira. After a lackluster main event that saw Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev go the distance to a split draw, Dana White broke some pretty big news during the post-fight press conference. White quickly told media members in attendance that the promotion had booked a vacant light heavyweight title fight between Glover Teixeira and Jamahal Hill for the upcoming UFC 283 card in Brazil. The news took many by surprise, given that White has repeatedly stated over the years that he doesn't book fights right after events. Although the fight between Blachowicz and Ankalaev saw both men find success during the 5-round affair, the UFC president seemingly had no interest in running it back once more. After the announcement of the upcoming title fight, Jamahal Hill took to Instagram to give his immediate thoughts on the situation.
Hey, I told y'all be patient. I told y'all be patient. I told y'all be cool. You already know what time it is, bruh. I've been saying, my time. You hear him? Done.
After the fight, Ankalaev made sure to clarify comments made by his translator during his post-fight Octagon interview. It was reported that Ankalaev said he was considering never fighting in the UFC again. However, he then went on to explain that he said he never wanted to fight in Vegas anymore. While thanking UFC President Dana White for the opportunity, he also revealed that he went into the fight with a knee injury before doubling down on the fact that he was sure he won the fight. Despite Ankalaev's thoughts on the fight, it will now be Jamahal Hill with a chance to win UFC gold. Hill went on an absolute tear this year, knocking out Johnny Walker in February before then wrapping up the summer with a TKO win over Thiago Santos in the 4th round. To date, the only loss on Hill's record is a 2021 loss to Paul Craig. With the biggest fight of his career ahead of him in just 6 weeks, do you think he has what it takes to get the job done? Give us your predictions in the comments section below. Raul Rosas Jr. reflects on big UFC 282 win. With all of the chaos that surrounded the co-main event and the main event of UFC 282, Raul Rosas Jr.'s dominant performance on the prelim card ended up being somewhat overshadowed. The 18-year-old phenom was one of the biggest stories going into the card, given his back and forth with opponent Jay Perrin, who brought the trash talk come fight week. After an impressive first-round win over Perrin, Rosas Jr. spoke to media members in attendance to reflect on the bout, saying,
I feel really happy but not satisfied. I'm ready to step back in there and as soon as possible and get what I really want, which is a title. The victory came out as planned, right? But what I'm saying is that I still don't have what I want. What I want is the belt right here with me. So I'm still not satisfied. You know, I'm really happy with my performance tonight, but I'm still not satisfied until that belt is wrapped around my waist.
Rosas has famously stated that he plans to break Jon Jones' record for being the youngest champion in UFC history. At the time Jon Jones defeated Mauricio Shogun Rua and won the light heavyweight title in 2011, he was 23 years and 8 months old. That means Rosas Jr. has about 5 years to win a UFC title. With 6 straight wins over the course of 2022, Rosas has seemingly been shot out of a cannon. With a 7-0 professional record, Rosas is eager to fight anyone who can move him one step closer toward his ultimate goal of winning a UFC championship. Although he still has yet to graduate high school, Rosas Jr. shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Darren Till has no plans to retire following loss to Dricus Du Plessis. Darren Till has had a rough go over the past few years, both inside and outside of the octagon. Currently in the midst of a 3-fight skid, Till has also suffered a series of injuries during training camp that have made it difficult for him to get back into any sort of rhythm. Following a win over Kelvin Gastelum in 2019, Till fought just once in each of the next 3 years. During that time, he also was forced out of several scheduled fights. In the first round of his highly anticipated return, Till seemed to be struggling to get things going. After Du Plessis appeared to gas in the second, the Gorilla began to find success on his feet. Despite momentum seemingly swinging his way, it was the streaking Du Plessis who was able to get the job done in the third. With 3 straight losses, many questioned what the future held for Till. As an undersized middleweight who showed that he struggled with the cut to welterweight in the past, talk of retirement began to surface. After the fight, he took to Instagram to give his thoughts on the loss, as well as share insight into his plans for the future, saying,
"I'm not retiring, this is not a retirement speech. I'm 29, that'd be stupid to retire, but you know, I'm on a bit of a losing skid at the moment, I really am. I'm not finding me right ways and stuff like that. It's crazy because, you know, when I'm in the gym sparring with all these best guys around the world, I'm in my element, and then when I step there in the octagon, I just can't seem to put things together. Then I have moments, like in the second round, where I'm untouchable, but then, you know, certain things happen and
Till went on to explain that he wants to fight next year, but before he gets back in the gym in preparation for another bout, he wants to enjoy the holiday season with his family. And now for our breaking news story of the day.
Многие говорят, что это станет Колби Ковингтон. Что ты скажешь про него и насколько ты уверен в процентных соотношениях, что этот бой состоится?
Я сказал, 100% состоится. Посмотрим, что такое.
Scott Coker doubts James Krause's ability to get licensed for Bellator events. As UFC President Dana White revealed to Aaron Bronstetter, leading up to UFC 282, it was the UFC's decision to ultimately suspend James Krause from cornering fighters inside the octagon. In addition to suspending Krause, the UFC also chose to suspend any fighters who associate with Krause while an investigation takes place into his recent suspicious betting activity. With the decision being one made by the UFC, many questioned what that meant for Krause when it came to cornering fighters in other promotions. Bellator MMA president Scott Coker spoke about the totally unacceptable situation following Bellator 289, while questioning whether ABC president Mike Mazzulli would even grant him a corner license amid the ongoing investigation.
The thing about cornering a fighter, you know, that's something you'd have to ask Mike Mazzulli. Is he going to allow the guy to get a license? Because every cornerman, every fighter, every referee, every judge, any official in this building has to be licensed by the state. So if the state licenses them, then I'd have to talk to the legal internally. But I think these individuals are going to have a hard time getting licensed in different states until the investigation is complete.
The impact of Krause's suspicious betting activity has already had some pretty significant impact to the sport. In addition to the sanctions put in place against him by the UFC, the provinces of Alberta and Ontario in Canada both banned betting on the UFC, although Alberta has since reinstated UFC betting. According to reports, Krause is allegedly set to sell his gym, Glory MMA. With no involvement in the gym, Krause's fighters will be free to compete without being associated with him. So far, no word yet from the UFC as to how long the investigation will take. Stay tuned for updates as they become available. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.